Hello everyone, my name is Arohi and welcome to my channel. So guys, in my today's tutorial, I'll show you how to detect, track and then count the number of vehicles class wise. You can see in this video also, here we are counting the buses separately, motorcycles separately and then cars and trucks. So like this, today we will see how we can count the number of vehicles class wise. To perform this task, we need 3 steps. First task will be to detect the objects. Here we are detecting the objects and then we are tracking the objects. ID 45 is the tracking ID, and then with that we have the class name. So first step will be to perform detection and tracking, and here for detection I'm using object detection model YOLO 11, which is the latest object detection model, and for tracking I'm using bot sort algorithm. Okay, so this will be a first step, and once we get the bounding boxes and the tracking IDs and the class names, our next task will be to put a dot in the center of each object. Why we are doing this? Because when we are going to write a logic to count the number of vehicles, at that time we need to find the center of the objects. So our second task will be to find out the center of each objects and put a red dot or any dot on it. Once you've done that, we will put a line on the image on every frame. Now when the vehicle will cross this red line, we will count that object. So what will happen? So when the object like this motorcycle, right now the red dot, the center of the object is over here, and the center of this object will touch this red line here on the top over here. On each frame we will get the count of that class. Okay, so how we are going to count the number of vehicles? The vehicles which are going to cross this red line, and when the center of those objects will touch this red line, at that time we will increase the counter for that particular class. Once you done that, here you can see now the objects are crossing this red line and we are getting the count for each object. So these are the steps which we are going to perform one by one, and our application will be ready. So the first step will be object detection and tracking. So what I've told you, what I'm going to use, YOLO 11 and bot sort algorithm. So now guys, let's start the coding part. Whenever you want to run any code, the first thing is to set up the environment. Set up the environment simply means you need to install all the modules which are required to run that particular code. So for our today's tutorial, we only need one package, which is Ultralytics, and you can install Ultralytics by writing pip install Ultralytics. Now let me show you how to install this Ultralytics package and then how to write the code for this application. Now I'm opening command prompt. So this is my command prompt. Here I have created a separate environment to run this code, because it is always a best practice to work under a separate environment. And if you want to create the separate environment, these are the steps. By this single line you can create the environment, and then to activate the environment you need to enter in the folder where you want to create the environment. So in my case, I have created a folder with the name of YOLO 11 and it is in E drive. Now here I have an environment. Now the name of that environment is my VENV. Now to activate that environment, I will write this and the environment will be activated. Now here you can see our environment is ready, activated. Now let me show you the Python version which I'm using for this environment. This is my Python version 3.10. Now let me show you the Ultralytics version which I have. Pip show Ultralytics. See, this is the Ultralytics version I'm using. Let's suppose you don't have Ultralytics installed yet. So this is how you will install. Pip install Ultralytics and then hit enter. In my case, requirement is already satisfied because I have already installed it. In your case, if it is not installed in your PC, so by writing pip install Ultralytics, you will get that Ultralytics package. Next task is to have a Jupyter notebook, because the code which I'm going to show you is on Jupyter notebook. So if you already have Jupyter notebook, then you can directly open Jupyter notebook. Otherwise, you will write pip install Jupyter space notebook and hit enter. Jupyter notebook will be installed. In my case, it is already installed, but still I'm running this command. Here you can see requirement is already satisfied. Now you installed everything which is required. Now let's open Jupyter notebook. This is how you write Jupyter notebook, and you'll get the Jupyter notebook open. So this is my Jupyter notebook here. So my today's code, I have created a separate folder for it. So you will also create a separate folder. So just create a new folder, just name it whatever you want to name it, and then open that folder here. In this folder, I only have test videos folder. Okay, let me open this folder where I'm going to write this code and show you what all files I have over there. So this is my folder. See, YOLO 11 folder. Under YOLO 11 folder, this is the environment we have created, and the code which I'm showing you is in this folder. So this is the folder which I have created. Just create a folder like this, and you can name it anything. And inside that folder, right now I have a folder with the name of test_videos. In this folder, I just pasted a video on which I'm going to show you the code. Okay, so this is the video on which we are going to work. So that video I have pasted in this folder. And that's it, guys. This assets folder, I just have some random files in it. You don't need it. You only need to create this folder. Now here, over here, I'm going to create the Jupyter notebook. And for that, you will go back to over here and just click on new, and then Python 3. You will see a blank Jupyter notebook like this. Here we are going to write the code now. So first, I'm importing all the modules. And then I'm loading YOLO 11 large model. L means large model. So here we are not training our model. What we are doing is we will load this YOLO 11 L pre-trained model, and this model is trained on Coco dataset. Coco dataset have 80 classes, and some of the classes in Coco datasets are bicycle, motorbike, car, truck, bus. So we are going to detect those classes only for our today's tutorial, right? So that's why I'm not training my separate model. We will just load this model and we will perform the detection with it. So now when we'll execute this script, you will see that this YOLO 11 L model will be downloaded in your current working directory. See, it is getting downloaded, and where it is going to be downloaded? Here, over here. See, this model you'll get here. Okay, now we have this YOLO 11 pre-trained model. This model will perform the detection. Let's go back to our code here. Before moving to the next part, let me show you what all classes are there in this model, the model which is trained on Coco dataset. So what are the different classes are present in Coco dataset? So let's print this. So guys, how we are getting it? See, model.names will give you the class ID and the class name. So 0 class ID belongs to person class, 1 class ID belongs to bicycle class, and in the same way here you can note 1 is bicycle class ID, 2 is for car, 3 is for motorcycle, 4 is for aeroplane, 5 is for bus, and then train and truck. So these are the classes which we want to detect, track and count in a today's tutorial. So guys, let's say the vehicle which you are going to which you want to detect are not available in this list. So in that case, you need to prepare your dataset for those classes, and then you need to train your model, right, on that custom dataset. And after training your model, you will get a trained model like this, and then you will use that model to perform the task. Okay, so if you don't know how to work with the custom dataset, then you can check this tutorial. In this tutorial, I have explained in detail how you can train your YOLO 11 model on custom dataset. So now these are the classes on which we want to work. We are not working on aeroplane class. So what we are doing, bicycle, car and motorcycle, and then bus, train and truck. These are the classes we want to work on. So now let's perform the next functionality. This is the video. This is the video on which we want to perform the functionality. So we have a test videos folder. Under that we have this video. Let me show you again. Inside, this is the Jupyter notebook I'm showing you. This is the test video folder, and inside that we have this 4.mp4 file. Here what we are doing, we are just using OpenCV video capture to open the video on which we want to perform the testing. Now let me show you how to perform detection and tracking. So this is the code. First we are running a while loop and we are reading all the frames one by one. So video is opened in this variable. So we are reading all the frames one by one, and when there are no frames to read, then the loop will break and every frame is going to the model. Which model? Here guys, we are using, for object detection we are using YOLO 11, and for tracking we are using BotSort algorithm. So by default this YOLO 11 Ultralytics package use BotSort algorithm. By using this single line we are performing detection and tracking. Model dot track, frame means each frame of the video one by one. Persist true means IDs will be persistent. So what happens is when you are performing tracking, so each object will get a ID, right? Unique ID. So to maintain their persistence, we are writing this persist true. After that, I'm showing this using this cv2.im show. I'm showing all the frames, and when Q is pressed, the loop should be breaked. Okay, so let's try to run this code. So this is my video, right? So this is our input video, and guys, here you see that we are not getting any detections, any bounding box or any tracking ID or any class IDs. We are not getting anything. Why we are not getting? Because here I have written that perform the tracking, and those results are stored in results folder, but while showing the frames I haven't wrote any code which will fetch the detections from this results variable and show that on the frames, right? So this part is missing yet. So now we will understand what kind of results we get over here, and then how to use the bounding boxes and the tracking IDs and the class IDs or the class names from this results, and then how to show it on each frame. Now we are going to perform this task. So first let's print this results. Okay, print results. Here I'm writing 0, which means you will see each frame one by one. Every time when I'll hit enter, then only the next frame will be displayed. This will make our work easier to understand. Okay, so let's run it. So this is our first frame, right? And when I'll enter, see, every time when I hit enter, next frame is getting fetched. Now here we have performed this print on the results. We are trying to understand what kind of output we are getting from this. So you can see this is for first frame. Here this part is important because this boxes over here will have the detail of all the bounding boxes, tracking IDs, class IDs, class name for each detected object. Everything is stored over here. So we are going to fetch the bounding boxes from these boxes. Tracking IDs also will fetch from these boxes only. And the class names, their confidence scores, everything we are going to fetch from these boxes. And now let's try to do that. What we are doing is, let's just comment this print over here, and just below it here I have pasted this much of code, that if results, this results dot boxes, remember this boxes, okay, if results dot boxes dot data is not none, means if this boxes is not none, then fetch the bounding boxes detail. So how we get the bounding boxes detail? See, from boxes we are getting this xy. This xy will give you the starting x and y value of the bounding box, and this second xy will give you the end value of that bounding box. Okay, so I have created a separate variable with the name of boxes. In that variable I'm fetching the xy value from boxes. Okay, and we are sending it to CPU. In the same way, I have created another variable with the name of tracking IDs. Here we are fetching the ID. This ID means the tracking ID. Every vehicle will have a unique tracking ID, right? So we are fetching that ID from boxes, and we are converting it into integer, and then we are sending it to CPU, and then we are converting it into list. In the same way, class indices, this is the class of the object which is detected. Again, from boxes only we are getting the class. This is the class ID. We are converting it into integer, we are moving it to CPU, and then we are converting into list. In the same way, the confidence score, what confidence score is? Suppose with truck, if you're getting 90%, that means our model is 90% sure that the detected object belongs to truck class. Okay, so how we get the confidence scores? From boxes dot conf, like this. If you'll write boxes dot conf, you will get the confidence score, and we are moving it to CPU. Boxes dot xy will give you the bounding boxes of the detected object. Boxes dot id will give you the tracking ID. Boxes.cls will give you the class indexes, class IDs, and then boxes.conf will give you the confidence score. So now we have separate 4 variables which have all these details. So now to display all the bounding boxes and the tracking IDs and class indices and confidence, we will use this code. So below this part here, I'm pasting this code, this much. See, so what I'm doing over here, I'm just writing a for loop, and it will loop through each detected object. See, we have these 4 variables now in zip. So I'm zipping all these values from here. Okay, and then in next line in this loop, I have created these 4 variables. These 4 variables will have the value of bounding box which we are getting from here. X1 will have the starting value of the bounding box, X value and the Y value. So guys, if you'll see here, see every bounding box, we will have the X value and the Y value. Okay, so to have this bounding box over here, so you will have one value from the x-axis and one value from the y-axis. So this is the x1 and this is the y1 value. This over here is the value x2. X2 is horizontally and y2 is vertically. Okay, you'll get end value. The point over here is x2, y2, and the point of the starting of this bounding box is x1, y1. So this we are getting here. Okay, that is what we are getting over here. And after that, we are using this cv2 dot rectangle. cv2 dot rectangle will provide you the bounding box. We want to put the bounding box on each frame, and this is the starting coordinate of the bounding box, x and the y value, and this is the end coordinate of that bounding box, x2 and y2 value, and this should be the color of that bounding box, and this is the thickness of the line which we are going to use while plotting that bounding box. Now on each bounding box we want to show the tracking ID and the class name. Okay, like this. Here we have a tracking ID. This ID equals to 45 is tracking ID, and then the class name. Here the ID is 42 and the class name. So we want to display this part also. So for this we are using cv2.putText. We want to put text on each frame, and In ID, we want to provide the tracking ID, this track ID. From here we will get, and then the class name. Here we have to write one more line, this line. So what this line means is, we don't want to get the class ID, means for car the ID is 2, so I don't want to show 2 as a 2 on the bounding box. Instead I want to show the name of that class. So for that we will write like this class index, right? So class index 2 belongs to car class. Remember, with this code over here, let me print it again. Here you'll see, for 2 class ID will be car, 3 class ID will be motorcycle, 7 class ID is truck. So if you'll not write this line over here, so let's say if we don't write this line, let's comment this line for a minute, and instead of this class name over here, let's write class index. And now let's try to run this code and see what we get. See here, you'll see that you are not getting the class name. For bike class you are getting 3, and for car class you are getting 2 over here, right? For bus class you are getting 5 over here. We are not getting the class names, we are getting the class IDs. In order to get the class name instead of class IDs, we are writing this line, and then we are passing the class name over here, which will give you the class names. Now let's run it, and here you will see that we are getting the class names and the tracking ID. So this is what we have done till now. Our first task is done. We are detecting the objects, we are tracking the objects, we are getting tracking IDs, we are getting the class names. So this was the first task. Now the second task is to put the dot in the center of each object. Remember here if you'll see, I've told you that in the center of each object we are going to put dot like this, because it is needed when we are going to write the further logic. Means if object is touching the red line, if the center of the object is touching this red line, then only we want to count the object. So for that we need to put this dot in the center of each object. So that's what we are going to do now. Let's close it and then go to our script. So here, this is how we are getting the values for bounding box. So here we will write the code to find the center of x value and the center of y value, center y value and the center x value of each object. So for that, by writing these 2 lines, see, cx is the center of x, cy is the center of y. So for each bounding box we are getting the center of x and the center of y. And how we are getting it? If you'll plus x1 and x2 and if you'll divide it by 2, you'll get the cx value. In the same way, to get cy value, the center of y value for each bounding box, you will plus y1 plus y2 and then you'll divide it by 2, you will get the center of y value. Now this cx and cy will give you the center, right? Now we want to show that dot on each detected object, right, on all the frames. So for that we can write, so see, so by writing this line you can put the circle cv2.circle. I want to put the circle on each frame, and this is the location where I want to put the circle, and this should be the color of that circle, right? So -1 means this is the diameter of that circle. Okay, so now let's print it, and you will see that for each frame, each detected object, see, here you will see for each detected object in the center of each bounding box we are getting this red dot. Okay, so now we have done this part also. Next task is to put a line like this. This kind of line we want to put, so that when object cross this line we can count that object. So now you want to draw a line over here, right? So this is the starting point of the line and this is the end point of the line. So for starting point of the line and for end point of the line, you will need 2 values, x value and the y value. X value means how many pixels from the x-axis you want to draw the line from, and y means how many pixels from the y-axis you want to put the line on. So let's say over here the value you write is from x-axis, it say 845, and from y-axis it says 298. So this is our starting value. In the same way, where you want to end the line. See guys, the y value over here and the y value on the starting of the line and the y value on the end of the line would be same. So if 298 is in the starting of the line, in the same way you'll get 298, you will write 298 at the end of this line also, because you want a straight line. And if you write, let's say instead of writing 298, right, you wrote 345, what will happen with that? So it means on this y-axis, after 340, at 345th pixel, your line will be drawn like this. So if you need a slanting line like this, then you will write a different y values. But if you need a straight line, then the starting point of the line and the end point of the line, for them you will choose the same y value. Okay, so this is what we are going to do now. First, over here where we are starting our loop, where we are reading the frames one by one and we are performing the functionality, above that I wrote this line yred. I have created one variable with this name and I've written 430. This means 430 pixels. At 430th pixel we want to draw the line. Now to draw the line, we will scroll down, and over here below this confidence, here we can write the script. Okay, let's just write it over here. So these are the two lines. What I'm doing is cv2.line. With this you can draw the line, and we want to draw the line on each frame. And see, these are the two values of the starting of the line. 690 is the x value, and line yred, remember the variable which we have declared over here, and we have written 430 over here, which means x value of starting line is this and y value is this, and these two values are the end of that line. So this is the x value and this is the y value, and this should be the color of the line and this should be the thickness of that line. Okay, so by writing this line you will get a line in red color, and on that line I want to write red line. Okay, so the line which we have drawn, so this is optional, you can even leave this part, this is not required. This is just to put the text on that line, whatever text you want to provide. So now let's hit enter and see we have a line now, and objects are crossing that line, and we have dots in the center. But right now we are not counting anything. So now we will write the script that when the center of the object touch the red line, then we want to count that object class wise. Let's do that. For that, where we have started this loop, over here we will write this. So I've written these two variables over here. So this is the first dictionary and this is the second dictionary. So let's understand these dictionaries one by one, what these dictionaries are going to do. So let's understand this one first, crossed underscore IDs. So this dictionary will check if the center of the object touched the red line or not. So this will keep track of all the objects which touched the red line. Okay, every time whenever the object touched the red line, that object will be saved in this, the ID, the tracking ID of that object will be saved in cross IDs. Okay, so one more thing we will perform over here. We will see if the object which is touching the red line, if the tracking ID of that object is already in the crossed IDs, then we will not save it. But if that ID, the tracking ID, is not in the crossed ID already, then we will add it. Let me show you how it will work. Let's see it with example. Let's write 0 over here so that we can understand frame by frame. Now let me hit enter. So this is the first frame. So let me just... So now let's run it. Now you'll see that the object, now we'll see this object, okay, this bike. The tracking ID of this bike is 9, right now the dot, the center of this object is not touching the red line, but now see, now the center is touching. In this also, second frame also center is touching, third frame also the center of that object is touching the red line, fourth and fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So in 8 frames the center of this object is touching the red line, and the ID, tracking ID of this object is 9. So what we are doing is, the right way to count the number of vehicle is, we should count this object as one only, right? Tracking ID which is touching the red line in 9 frames, but we want to count it as one only, right? So how we are going to do that? We will check this cross IDs. If this cross IDs have that tracking ID 9 present in it already, then we are not going to count it again. This will help us to get the exact count, and this will not count the same object again and again. Okay, so this is the task of this. It will count the each object only one time, and if that object is already present in cross ID dictionary, then it will not count. Okay, now let's talk about this class counts. This dictionary is responsible to count the vehicles class wise, like it will keep on incrementing the car class if car is touching the red line, it will increment the bike class if bike is touching the red line, right? So these are the two dictionaries which we are going to use. Now let me show you the logic how it is going to work. So scroll down here below this code where we are putting the bounding boxes and the dot in the center. Below that, here I'm writing this. So this is my logic. What this logic is, cy is the y value of each object. So if you'll see here, for each object we have sent cx value and cy value. If the cy value of object is greater than the y value of red line, then we will count that object. This is what we are doing. If the cy value of line cy value is greater than the line y red value, and this is the one condition, okay, we are checking if the cy of the object is greater than the y value of the red line, and if that tracking ID is not in crossed IDs. Remember, I've explained you this cross IDs, right? If that ID is not already present over there, then we are adding that tracking ID in crossed IDs, and then we are counting when we are incrementing the class count on the basis of class name, right? So what this line means, let's say the tracking ID is 5 and that tracking ID belongs to truck class, then for truck class counter will be incremented. And if the tracking ID over here belongs to bike class, then in this line the counter for bike class will be incremented. Okay, so this is our logic. Now we want to display the count on each frame, the counting which we are performing over here, that count class wise we want to show it on the screen. So for that we'll write just below this over here, to show the count I've written this code. So this y offset 30 simply means the space between the, whenever we are going to show the class names with the count, so the space between one class and the output which we are going to show of the second class, there should be a gap of 30 pixels. Okay, that's what I'm writing over here. So the class name count, so we are getting the class count from here by using this put text on each frame. We want to show the class name and its count. Okay, now let's try to print it. Okay, first I have to close this and then this. See, okay, Now let's run it. See, bus is 1. Now the bikes are crossing, motorcycle is 3, 4, the count is increasing. Person is also getting detected. See guys, we don't want to detect persons, right? But here persons are also getting detected. Car 1. See, the count is increasing over here. Now this truck is, see, when this truck will cross this line, here you will see the truck is 1. Okay. See, this is how it is working. Now guys, here the person is also getting detected. Now let's say you don't want to detect the person class, you only specifically want to detect all the vehicles. Now what will you do? So for that, first let me close it. And over here, in this line where we are performing the tracking, here just write classes equals to provide the class names which you want to detect. What are the class names we want to detect? Let's run this part again and see what are the class IDs we want. See, we want to detect bicycle, which is ID 1, car, motorbike 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 and 7. These are the classes we want to detect. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So we will mention over here in classes, here we'll mention the class IDs 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So these are the classes we want to detect, track and count. Now let's hit enter and see. Buses detected and tracked and count. Motorcycles are getting counted. And see, now persons are not getting detected, only vehicles are getting detected and tracked and count. So guys, this is how you can perform detection, tracking and then counting the number of vehicles on the basis of their class names. And the link of this code is given in description section. You can get that code. And guys, I hope this video is helpful. And if you like my content, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.